There was a time when Ella hated mornings. Not because mornings were bad, but because every morning reminded her that her life was standing still. While the world around her kept moving forward, Ella felt trapped in the same routine every single day. Late nights, endless scrolling, empty laughter online, and silent tears nobody ever saw. Every night, she promised herself she would change. I'll wake up early tomorrow. I'll start working on my dreams tomorrow. I'll become better tomorrow. Tomorrow always disappeared. And slowly, Ella began losing confidence in herself. One night, after scrolling on her phone for hours, she suddenly noticed the time. 3:17 a.m. Her room was dark. The only light came from her phone screen, shining on her tired face. She looked at herself in the mirror nearby and froze. The girl staring back at her looked exhausted. Her eyes looked heavy. Her smile had disappeared. Even her dreams felt tired. For a long moment, Ella stood there quietly. Then she whispered softly to herself, "What is happening to my life?" That question stayed in her heart all night. The next morning, something unusual happened. At exactly 5 a.m., her alarm rang. Ella almost turned it off immediately. Her bed felt warm. The room was cold. Her body felt weak from sleeping late. But somehow, something inside her said, "If you sleep again, nothing will change." Slowly she sat up. That first morning was difficult. Very difficult. She yawned constantly. Her eyes kept closing. Part of her wanted to give up immediately. But then she walked toward the window. Outside, the streets were quiet. The sky was still dark blue. Birds had just started singing softly. And for the first time in a very long time, Ella felt peace. No noise, no pressure, no distractions. Just silence. She made a cup of tea and sat quietly watching the sunrise. As the golden light slowly filled the sky, tears gathered in her eyes. Not because she was sad, but because deep down she realized something important. She had been abandoning herself for too long. From that morning forward, Ella made a decision. Every day at 5 a.m., she would choose herself again. At first, nobody noticed the change. But slowly, her life began transforming. She stopped sleeping with her phone in her hands. She started reading books, started exercising, started writing down her goals, started spending quiet time thinking about the future she truly wanted. Little by little, the tired girl began disappearing, and the new Ella began to emerge. Her mind became clearer. Her confidence returned. Her energy changed. People who once ignored her suddenly began asking questions. How are you suddenly so disciplined? How are you always motivated now? What's changed? But they never saw the real battles. They never saw the mornings when Ella wanted to stay in bed, but forced herself to rise. They never saw the lonely mornings she fought against laziness, fear, and doubt. And they never saw how many times she almost gave up. Months later, Ella looked back at her old life and barely recognized herself. The girl who once wasted nights scrolling endlessly had become focused, disciplined, peaceful, and full of purpose. And it all started with one simple decision: waking up at 5 a.m. This story reminds us that success does not begin with money, fame, or luck. Sometimes, success begins quietly. In the early hours of the morning, when nobody is clapping for you, when nobody is watching, but you still choose to fight for a better version of yourself. Your habits shape your future, and the way you start your mornings can change the direction of your entire life. If you liked this story, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and tell us in the comments, what did you learn from Ella's story?